Okay, so hello, Chris.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, thank you so much for joining me today
Oh, my pleasure.
for to share about flower essences. So I'm very excited to hear um, what you're going to share with us because I know a little bit of your journey. Well, I know quite a big bit of your journey, but it's always fun to kind of hear it in a condensed space like this. So you've been taking flower essences for how many years now, long term?
Um, Probably 4 to 5, I think.
Okay,
Must be about then when I started uh,
you did.
doing
So,
the
so
diploma, and that's when they were really introduced to me. Yeah.
okay, so we're talking about a 5 year experience, which is a cool time really to see what happens. So, but first of all, would you like to tell everybody about you?
Yes. I've been an aromatherapist and massage therapist for about 20 odd years now, and I've managed to combine that very successfully, I think, with bringing up 2 children. And I love what I do, but I have to say it's like everything. You have ups and downs, and there are moments when you think, "Oh my, is this right?" And then about 5 years ago, the essences appeared, um, and it was a big turning point for me. And that's where I started to realise where my strengths and my purpose lay, and that's with helping women of more mature years, let's say 55 plus to put a number on it, and to help them to realize that actually, because we've reached this figure, doesn't mean we can't continue or even start to do something that we really want to do, whether it's for pleasure, whether it's a work related thing. Um, we can still do it. And I've now found a number of avenues where I can share this, and it's so rewarding, really is.
It's such fabulous work and it's very needed work. So, congratulations to you for allowing this to be birthed as a result of, diving deep within yourself, because that's what it's about, isn't it? When we work with
Yeah.
essences, we get really honest about stuff in our lives.
Oh yes.
So, I've known you for longer than 5 years, and I know that your life was, as you said yourself, pretty together before you started taking essences. But by taking essences, what I've noticed is that it's enriched it hugely. So it's kind of brought the sort of juice and the passion back to you. So
Oh,
would you like to share what your life was like before you started taking essences?
well, on the surface, it seemed to be quite organised and together. As I say, I've been a therapist for quite a while, and I just work for myself. I've got a beautiful log cabin in the garden, and it it's like anything when you're self-employed. There are times when you think, oh my, do I need to do something else? And with my husband being self-employed as well and a builder, and therefore reliant on the weather, I took on all sorts of things, and I was selling greetings cards, I was selling chocolates, and it all got very fragmented, and I didn't feel I was working as a whole. And I just didn't feel it was right. And I think it was taking away from the therapies as well. And there were 1 or 2 points where I thought, what avenue am I going to follow? And I was getting quite, what's the word I would use? Quite unsettled. I think that was it. I was getting unsettled. I was missing something.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't know what it was.
No, no idea.
How did it make you feel that you didn't know what it was?
Frustrated, because I loved the therapies, but I was starting to question myself.
Okay,
Mm.
as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So you maybe were starting to feel how many of your potential clients might feel. That's like, I'm this age, so what next?
Yeah,
Is this
exactly.
it?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
I can see now why it happened, but it wasn't very nice at the time.
Yeah, I hear you, yeah.
Mm.
So this is where Essences then stepped in to support that part of you. So
Oh, yeah.
this is where I am. This feels like it could be it, but I'm not willing to kind of entertain that thought 100%. So let's try something else. So what needed to shift inside you in order to allow you to be open to taking this journey? You know, what was the opening point? Because
I think it was a realization. I actually can still remember the moment that I thought, that's it. I was trying to find something. I kept looking, do I want to do another training course? I just didn't know what I wanted. Do I take a different direction altogether? And I was flicking, funny enough, through Facebook. I was just going through it, and obviously we've been friends on Facebook for quite a while, and one of your ebooks came up, and it was 10 essences every household should have, or something on those lines. And I read through it, and I just thought, that's it. There was no I didn't even need to look at what it was about. I just knew that's what I needed to do, and there was just total trust in it. And I think it's the trust, because I didn't trust myself before. I don't know quite why I should suddenly, having just read an ebook, that was it. That was the moment.
so something inside you aligned and shifted and opened,
Yep.
or whatever the word is. So this is a bit of a way out here question, but I need to ask, do you think the nature kingdom was talking to you through the book?
I think it was. There was a lead up. Now I can see the path that led up to it. The things that were happening to me are things that I want to help other people, women in particular, to work through. And I needed to do that. I needed to go through the confusion and the unsettled feelings. And then the book was there. It was just there at the right time. There we go. Yeah.
And it's acknowledging that our life experiences have all been part of the fabric, and that we needed them. That makes us empathic people to hold the space. So yeah. So at this point, when you read the ebook, had you taken essences before?
I think, in fact, I know that there were only two that I'd taken. One was, I can distinctly again remember having, when I was doing my aromatherapy exams, which I was, in my early 40s then, and I had a bottle on my desk as we all sat down. In fact, I think we were all the same. We had a bottle of rosemary, which is really good for keeping the mind alert, and a bottle of Mark's Rescue Remedy, which kept me calm. So that was my first experience. And then a little while later, we were actually away on a weekend when we all met up to plan for the Cat's Eye Blends. And I had some very disturbing and sad news on the Sunday morning. And I had to drive home on my own. And you gave me some Star of Bethlehem, which I put in my water. I took some before I went, and it did help me get home. Yeah. I don't know how I would have been without it. I really don't, because it was a long journey, actually, wasn't it? It was because we were up in Derbyshire, I think, near Liverpool, up that way. So for me, it was a good 5 hours driving, having just had this very, very sad and shocking news. But it got me home.
Yeah, so you'd obviously taken two really excellent essence, both of them, because Star of Bethlehem's in Rescue Remedy. Excuse me. But you hadn't you weren't experienced in any other way. So
Oh,
you
no,
trusted the
no.
path, and you began a journey where you took essences of many different ranges over a period of probably 18 months leading into 2 years ish.
Yes,
It was a little period of time. So how is your life different now that you've come out the other side? 5 years out the other side, how is it different?
I think the big thing is, because life still goes on round us, you know, it's not suddenly made my life magically without problems, because they still appear in all sorts of shapes and ways. But I think the big difference is how I approach them. And if something is going on within the family, or there's like we're experiencing some pretty poor weather at the moment, so that can put pressure on us. But I'll put some essences in our room fresheners and things like that, which just help us keep calm, keep our vibration high so we don't get too low. So I can use them on a day-to-day basis. I can help with things like creativity. I recall one of the essences we took was periwinkle during the diploma, and I had so many flashes of inspiration during that month that it's a useful essence for me when I need to do some advertising and social media things, which are not my big forte, and it just supports me day to day, every day.
So you found some extra tools to help you and your family balance and not fall down any sort of black holes?
No, yeah, I mean, as I say, life just does happen around us, and there are going to be times when we are going to, some sad things are going to happen and shocking things. But I know now that I can help them and myself with the essences and support us to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, now you offer this tool out to other people that come to your practice as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So what are some of the shifts you're seeing in women who come to you, as you shared at the beginning, now that you know that part of your purpose is to support women of a certain age, know that there's are exciting times ahead. What breakthroughs are you seeing? Just share with us again some of this amazingness.
It's realizing that they still have a purpose, but also it's having confidence to do something that they would really like to do. As I say, sometimes they feel if they've got to work, for instance, because the goalposts have been changed in regard to pensions and things like that, that they don't need to do something mundane, that actually if they've got something they really want to try and do, then go and have a go. Or if they want to take up a new hobby, go and play golf or take up art, then try it. Yeah. What have you got to lose, really? Yeah, it's confidence in themselves.
Absolutely. That sounds fabulous. Yeah, really, really fabulous. So well done for offering this amazing work out there and helping so many people. It's really, really good. But it all begins with us, isn't it? So which is why it's important to share of ourselves. So may I ask you, do you have, or could you find within yourself, if I asked you for your favourite part of the Diploma in Flower Essences that you took that began this shift for you, what was your favourite part?
I think it was every month. I knew that I would be learning something new about myself, and also something new that I could use, like dowsing with a pendulum. I find that so fascinating, and I'm actually doing an online course now just to enhance that practice. So it was just a discovery the whole way through.
Discovery of new things.
Yeah.
Opening these doors. Yeah. And how do essences complement everything else you do as a practitioner, as a therapist?
Um, because I can use them within a treatment, but also I can offer it as something for them to take home. I mean, women in particular, do open up. There's a safe space within where I work for them, and I think sometimes they're a little astounded at the difference that it can make, and it can be very subtle. But there's a difference, and it just helps support them.
Mm. Mm. So it's fitted beautifully alongside
Yeah.
aromatherapy. That's what I actually love about essences, that you can just use them anywhere, anyhow. They don't actually have a smell either, and I know
no.
so we can
Which I
become
think some
invisible
people
with them.
find a little odd.
Yes, but brandy.
Yeah.
But it does allow us to use them a little bit more subtly as well, invisibly, so that we can do it, on a train, for example, and nobody knows. You can use a flower essence spray on a train, and nobody knows what you're doing. Yeah. So, do you have any words of wisdom for anybody listening and watching who's curious about taking essences and hasn't done before, or maybe who hasn't committed, not even committed, who hasn't stuck with the process and just kept taking them? What would your words of wisdom be?
To trust what your gut feeling is, and to try it. If you feel you'd like some guidance, then find somebody like myself. I mean, we're growing. There's more and more of us out there now. Because you can even talk online, and an essence can become apparent. And just trust it and have a go. You'll be amazed at what can happen and how you can feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you're such a wonderful example, testimony, whatever the word is of this, Chris. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing, thank you for opening yourself to this and having the courage and commitment to join us. And now, which is my wish, for you to take it out and help others. Thank you so much for sharing your story today.
No, thank you.
May it help many people with some hope and inspiration for their days ahead.
Yeah, that's what we want.
That's what we want, isn't it? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.